As we enter 2025, the two most dangerously addictive watches from Seiko are getting much harder to find. More expensive when you do find them, but when both of those things don't matter and you just want to choose between the larger diver or the medium-sized diver, this is the video for you. I'm not going to say getting the SKX new old stock is worth it, because right now it is not. Before, yes, but now you're better off with some 4R alternatives. So this isn't a video saying if it is still worth it in 2025, 2026 and so on. It'll be hard to consider it being worthy, especially after the discontinuation and the fear of missing out kicked in among collectors. When you collect discontinued watches, and especially the SKX007 and 013 that are future classics, you'll definitely feel a bit of pain overpaying for it now. So when you have finally accepted that downside, let me share with you my thoughts on these two similarly looking watches, yet different. Now this video doesn't work if you want both. Obviously just get both and the problem done, right? I don't think so. Anyway, you can switch them occasionally and you're good to go. But if you already have a lineup of modern Seiko watches in your collection and you want to have a taste of the ultimate dive watch that made Seiko known, these two are the best examples of that era. To start off, the SKX013 is a dive watch that has been overlooked from the early stages of its release. Not much attraction has been garnered by this watch, not until recently when the small watch trend exploded and everyone wanted a sub 40mm and call it the perfect watch size. The SKX013 has a 37mm case size and I have a 6.85 inch wrist. It really looks proportional, and I do believe that. Even if you have a 7-inch wrist or above, you could pull it off. The size is big enough to see and not too tiny like a mini Apocalypse. The thickness of the watch is at 13mm, makes it look chunky from the side, especially when on a rubber strap. So before I continue with the SKX007 here, I'd like to share with you the bracelets on these watches. And this is wearing the strap code bracelet with the V clasp. I bought this watch recently and this is the J model, as you can see there. I really wanted to have one and really want to compare it to the K model, and I decided that I should just sell my SKX007 K model and keep this because this just looks really nice. I thought I'd like the plain version of the K, but this 21 jewels text there, it just completes my collection because I also have an SKX009J and the SKX011, which is also a J. This one is not a strap code, but it looks quite similar to it, and the quality is also really similar. Easy to adjust the links there. The only difference is that it doesn't have a V clasp and there's no markings inside. As you can see, this has a female end link, and this one, the SKX007, has a male end link, which I actually prefer the male end link. The female end link looks nice on top, see that, really cool, but when you wear it there's kind of a gap here which sometimes bothers me, as you can see there. But overall it is also a solid end link, and so it's really nice looking oyster bracelet. I really believe that if you own an SKX, you should really invest in a much better bracelet instead of the stock Jubilee. I guarantee you the experience is much better. The first mod that you should do, if you do get one, is the bracelet. It's just exceptional. I'm not sponsored by Strap Code or any of these products that I'm showing right now. I just like to share with you that there are other bracelets that have the same, if not similar quality, but at half the price. So yeah, I'll just put it out there. With regards to the female and the male end link, which one would you prefer? Leave it in the comments down below. Okay, so going back to the SKX007, this is a 42.5mm dive watch with a spell. It just mesmerizes the user. I mean, this case design has been tested for a long time, from the 6309-7290 Slim Turtle to the 7002-7000 series. This watch is the final evolution of those watches. Of course it's going to feel refined, but this is where I personally think the SKX007 has an edge. It's that even if you have small wrists like me, you can pull it off. There's a reason why there are modding websites specifically for SKX watches only, because this watch is that good. Now, as you may know, both of these are preferential. But I just would like to debunk the notion that if you have a small wrist, go for the 013. If you have a 7-inch or larger wrist, go for the 007. That is simply not the case here. I personally have owned multiple SKX013 and SKX007 from different dial variations, from the orange dial to the Pepsi, and would always go back to the larger counterparts, the 007, 009, 011. The hands of the smaller SKX013 always leaves the watch visually lacking. The 007, on the other hand, has just a more refined look and feel. It feels more of a tool watch compared to the 013. Now I know I sound like I lean towards the 007. It was because for a long time wearing the 013, it didn't bring the same wrist presence that I was looking for compared to the 007, which is discreet yet recognizable, especially this J version, which I much prefer to the K version, having owned both of them. The reason why these two watches exploded in popularity was because of their affordability and reliability. I bought this one second hand and it was around $200. This one was also sub $200. I think if you could find these two watches on the second hand market with a reasonable price, it's actually not that bad. As you can see here, the dial of the SKX007J is much darker, much rich black. This one has a bit of patina in it. As you can see, the orange text is also light orange as compared to my 007. It's much darker, much richer. So that's the small differences there. The SKX013, I like the quirk of the chapter ring right there on the 3 o'clock. So this isn't really the most technical video about these two watches. I mean, there's not much to say here. It's the same movement, 7S26 on both of these watches. A smaller case size, bigger case size. It's more of the characteristics of these watches, even though that they may be the same inside, but on the outside they really wear differently and they really wear on their own charm. That's what I like about these two. That's why people just go crazy about these two watches. You really have to own one to understand at least one of them. But yeah, these two watches are just solid and still relevant, still good enough, and you have a lot of mod parts to choose from to improve the crystal, the bezel, whatever you want, drilled lug holes. There are a ton of websites that support the SKX, and that's why this community is still alive until today, and it's still being collected by collectors. That's about it. Thanks for watching, guys. If you have any more questions regarding these two watches, leave it in the comment down below and I'll try to answer them. Till next time, I'll see you soon. Stay safe.